From MTN Sports, welcome to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertsons Safeway.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Grizzly Insider here on the Montana Television Network. Alongside the voice of the Grizz, Riley Corcoran, I'm Kyle Hansen. We're your hosts, and the Montana Grizzlies returning off of a bye, blank Northern Colorado for the third straight time, 24-0. Riley, just kind of general thoughts seeing the Grizzlies back in action. Of course, I mean, that's a crazy stat to shut them out 3 times in a row.
It's amazing, first off, before we even dive into the game, that in a conference opponent that you could shut them out 3 consecutive times. Great performance by the defense, first off. It was nice getting back in the groove of it. I think, Kyle, we were talking about just the flow of the game. The first half was very reminiscent of 2 teams coming off a bye. There was maybe some rustiness there, and maybe not to get into the specifics, but there were just rustiness throughout the execution side of things. Montana was able to flex their muscles, and it kind of felt like a game that could have been more than just a 24-point margin. Long story short, though, we could nitpick all we wanted. It was a solid performance by the defense. The offense clearly did enough and could have put more points on the board. Special teams had some good moments, too, the only kick return. So all in all, a good, solid win. I think Montana hasn't played many opponents this year where they've completely overmatched them. So this, much like a Moorhead State, a good win. And I think that maybe the biggest thing to come out of it, Kyle, was the memorable moments that we had. And from the big plays, or just maybe the people that were making those plays, that was impactful.
100%. I think you have to give the defense their flowers, right? Because kind of over the last few weeks, we've talked about the lack of turnovers caused and how maybe that's hurt them a little bit when you look at the Eastern Washington shootout. You look at the loss to Weber State, the NAU challenges, things like that. And so you have to give them a lot of credit, because that first offensive drive for the Grizz ends a little bit, frustrating, because they're driving, the weird fumble, and then they miss a field goal. But then the defense turns right around. Jace Klusewicz, making his first start as a Grizzly, gets that interception, and then Montana catches in with a touchdown there. And from there, it felt like they were rolling. So that, to me, felt like the biggest thing. And then, obviously, Keali'i Ah Yat, first time we've seen him play extended minutes since that injury against Western Carolina.
It was massive to see Keali'i Ah Yat. And Montana only had, this was a wild game, Kyle. There were only 17 possessions, and that's way down compared to the average in college football. Montana only had the ball 9 times. Keali'i Ah Yat led 6 of those 9 drives, but the previous 3 games, he played a total of 6 snaps. So just to get him back in the groove, right? And I think that the coaching staff all year long said they wanted to keep both guys ready. Well, just by the byproduct, I think, of how the games went and the bye week, that Keali'i Ah Yat had not gotten that game time in. So to get him back in the fold was great to see. And what was interesting, Kyle, were the long drives in this game. Not only in the fourth quarter to end the game, that was kind of bizarre, but I think the biggest statement that Montana made, third quarter, 16 plays, 87 yards, 9-minute drive. The way they were able to break that down was mighty impressive. Eli Gilman touched the ball 9 times there, 8 pass, 8 run. We've liked the balance that we've seen from the Grizzly offense all year, and it played out on Saturday.
Absolutely. And you look at, too, that was also set up by an interception, right? Jackson Lee, highlight reel play, Big Sky Conference Defensive Player Award for him this week. Great honor for him. 7 tackles, I believe, to go with that as well. So huge kind of highlight reel interception to set that drive up. Caleb Otluski also with an interception, his first of his Grizzly career. But that, to me, that drive felt like it sealed the game, right? Because it was methodical. It wasn't these big chunk plays. There was a couple penalties that set them back, and they were able to recover a little bit. Obviously, they had the touchdown to Keelan White called back, and then you get back to Eli Gilman. So it was just kind of, tit for tat. Maybe some of that is the bye week rust a little bit, but I thought it was interesting watching Ah Yat engineer that and did a great job. And then obviously Logan Fife coming in at the very end with another 9-minute drive that sealed the win and put this one away.
He did, and I think that last drive, even though it was 24-0, 9 minutes to go, people might think there's not much out there. That was big for Logan Fife to engineer that, move it back down, because again, he has had such a great run of success the last couple of games that you don't want him to lose that confidence. It's okay to get Keali'i Ah Yat going a bit, but you certainly don't want to lose what Logan Fife has gained. So the Grizz are in a good spot going into the month of November. Hard to believe, Kyle, we're going into the back third of the regular season.
It's the games you remember, no doubt about it. Well, coming up, we got a great show coming up for you. A little bit later on, Keali'i Ah Yat will join the show, but after the break, Coach Hauck joins to break down the win over Northern Colorado.
Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertsons Safeway.
And welcome back into the Grizzly Insider. Montana Grizzlies coming off of a 24-0 shutout over the Northern Colorado Bears. Pleased to be joined by head coach Bobby Hauck. A very happy head coach Hauck as they come off the bye with a win. And coach, this might blow your mind. 3rd straight shutout for the Grizzlies over Northern Colorado. So speak to that win and this little streak you guys have going. In your tenure, you've never allowed a point to the Bears.
Yeah, that's kind of wild, isn't it? Hard to fathom in this era of college football that you could get 3 consecutive shutouts against an opponent. I mean, it's just wild. I think we played well in all three phases, but that's the second shutout this season our defense has pitched. I think that shows that we're playing pretty well at times on that side of the ball, and including yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah. So speak to, I guess, coming off the bye week, right? Kind of, you mentioned getting some practice in, kind of guys healing up the bumps and bruises a little bit. So how'd you feel coming in off the bye back into game week prep against the Bears?
Well, the guys that are really banged up are still pretty banged up, but did get some of the minor things taken care of, so that was good. That we had great work a week ago, and then the focus on Northern Colorado last week was tremendous. We have really focused, intentional guys on our roster, and they want to win, and they want to prepare, which plays hand in hand, and that's how you win.
This is something you talk about often, is obviously turnovers, right? How key they are in wins and losses in the game of college football. For you guys, defense gets 3 interceptions, including the second drive of the game. Jace Klusewicz gets that pick. I believe Ryan Terrell tipped it, so kind of a team effort there to get the pick, and you guys cashed it in right away. So speak to that turnover and how it maybe got the offense kick-started for you guys to take that early lead.
Well, lack of turning the ball over and then taking it away on defense really contribute to the final score. I mean, they just do. In all college football games, all professional games, when you can come out +3, in particular on the road in the turnover battle, then you've got a great chance of winning the game.
So for you guys to look at the offensive side, right, to utilize those. So speak to, I guess, the offense kind of playing off those interceptions and, kind of, showing those stats, right? The defense gets a stop, offense goes. It feels like that complementary football worked out well yesterday.
Well, 2 of them were in our own end. So it's not quite as huge a thing other than you don't let the points get up on the board, right? It's all a field position deal. So whether it's blocking a punt or a big kick return or taking it away and you give the offense the ball in positive territory, better things happen. So shorter fields are a big deal. That's part of the turnover battle. And then the other side of the coin is, we started 3 drives inside our own 5-yard line on offense and went down the field, and that was big time in terms of our offensive production.
And it's interesting, too, because 2 of those drives were 9-minute drives, right? In the second half especially. You have the one, you get the touchdown from Keali'i to Eli, and then the final drive, which basically sealed the win for you guys. Northern Colorado never gets the ball back. So speak to the offense kind of holding the ball and working their way down the field and taking a lot of time off the clock as well.
The whole game, all 3 phases, plays together, right? Mm-hmm. So we had 2 9-minute drives, right, in that second half, and that contributes to the shutout as well.
Yeah.
We're playing offense. They can't get out there to get any points on the board. We finished the game on the 1-yard line, didn't score, which is fine, maybe even good. We had enough points. I just like how our team is playing together. Offense, defense, special teams. That was a really complete game by our team.
So against Northern Colorado, obviously both quarterbacks playing a lot. Again, Keali'i Ah Yat getting more reps in this game, playing very well and kind of engineering that drive in the third quarter that gets you that touchdown. So speak to kind of the feel of working with both quarterbacks, getting them in the mix, and then just overall your impressions of their performances in that game.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's really, from my chair, it's comforting, but it's great to have 2 guys you feel good about. Not everybody has that. I think it's really productive for us to play both of those guys, and that's what we've done all year, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Some individual game plans will dictate a little different mix between those 2 guys, but they're both doing a good job. We like them both. Logan did some great things. Keali'i did some great things. And as I said, it's really a phenomenal thing for our football team to have 2 guys at that position that we can rely on.
As you mentioned, all 3 phases really in total control of this game. But you saw some young guys make some big plays too. Caleb gets that interception, and then Ian Finch, first catch, and he makes it a big one. Former Hellgate Knight getting the job done there. So for you to see some young guys also contribute with some of the guys who typically do, how cool is that from your position?
Well, it's great. It's great for a lot of reasons. One is just attitudinally. These guys all work really hard. For them to be able to get in the game, contribute, play is good for them attitudinally and the attitude of the team. The other thing is I'm a real believer that you get better at football by playing it. And so for those guys to play college football plays in a conference game is great for our football team and for them as individuals.
100%. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this upcoming week.
All right, man. Go Grizz.
Absolutely. Coming up on the other side of the break, Keali'i Ah Yat joins the show here on the Grizzly Insider.
Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Welcome back to the Grizzly Insider, and we're very excited to be joined by freshman quarterback Keali'i Ah Yat, coming off of a big game in the 24-0 win for the Grizzlies over the Northern Colorado Bears. First of all, Keali'i, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being here, and kind of looking back at a victory now, kind of having a little bit of time to let it sink in. Just how does it feel knowing you guys got a shutout and took care of business down in Greeley?
Yeah, it feels good to go down and get a road win. Like Coach always says, us and our team just locking arms, going in trying to get a road win. So it's good to get a road win for sure.
For you guys coming off the bye, what was it like, right? Because you get a little bit of a break, some bumps and bruises get taken care of, but there's some practice done as well, get some work in. So for you guys coming off the bye, how'd you feel going into the week of prep, knowing you were getting kind of back in the back half of this regular season?
The bye week was good for us, just another reset button for us. Hit the reset button and just getting ready to go for the second half of the season because it's a push and November's coming around, so the games in November I remember, so, or whatever this thing is, but.
Hey, so you got it down already. Montana Grizzlies, Shirley's, for sure. So for you, Kealii, let's go ahead and talk about the game. So obviously, you know, you guys, Jace Klusewicz gets that pick. You guys turn it around and score right away. From the offense's perspective, just what was the flow like for the game as you and Logan were kind of splitting duties again? But for you, when you were out there, what were you guys seeing that you were able to kind of exploit against Northern Colorado?
Yeah, just on the sideline, bouncing ideas off each other, telling each other what we see out there, just trying to take a mental rep when you're not in. So when I got in, just knowing what to expect and trying to execute the game plan.
That first one, especially when they get the turnover and you guys cash it in and score, just how big was that for you guys just to even kind of get the ball rolling at all? Because the defense felt like they got started, but offensively you guys able to make it work. Just felt like that's when you guys kind of got going at that point.
Whenever the defense gets a turnover for us, we want to capitalize on it, get us momentum for the whole team. The defense gave us 3 picks, so we want to capitalize off of that, and they helped us give us momentum.
It's interesting too, towards the end of the second quarter, you got Ian Finch his first touchdown, right? So I know you mentioned how good of a team player he is, but what's it like for you? You know, you see some of these other young guys like yourself contributing. You know, Caleb gets the pick in the second quarter as well, but then you get Ian his first catch and touchdown. How cool was that for you to be a part of that moment?
Yeah, it was definitely cool getting Finch's first touchdown. We worked that play in the week, like I said yesterday, and just glad we executed it and we got him his first touchdown.
That's awesome. Well, for you guys, so speak to that 9-minute drive in the third quarter, right? This is after Jackson's interception, of course, and you guys really, you know, bleed the clock down. It was a very methodical drive, a lot of guys getting involved. What was it like kind of engineering that drive, and what were you guys seeing in that moment to, you know, just kind of slowly get your way down there before you and Eli connected for that touchdown?
I mean, that drive, we're just taking it play by play, and we had a couple setbacks with some flags, but with some penalties, but we just had to play our game and just execute the game plan and just stay locked in and not let the penalties kill us.
And then, you know, later in the game, Logan comes in towards the, you know, in the fourth quarter and seals it with another 9-minute drive of his own. So watching him out there kind of work, same thing, right? I mean, they had the touchdown called back. They're right on the doorstep. But to see the offense really, whether either guy was in, what was it like kind of seeing the offense just work so well against Northern Colorado?
I mean, it's great to see because I know how hard we work in the week to play well on Saturdays, and it's good to see the work paying off and all the boys just executing what we've been working all week.
So as coaches mentioned, obviously you guys playing, you and Logan both playing quarterback, and you guys want to continue doing that going forward. For you, what's it been like kind of splitting reps and kind of learning from him, because he's got a lot of experience. Obviously you're still kind of learning in your early days of college football. So what's it like working in tandem, and how have you kind of benefited from this dual quarterback system?
Yeah, it's definitely good just working with Logan, Coach Pease, and all the other quarterbacks, just learning from when he's playing, his reps and his good reps, his bad reps, and he's been helping me, so I can't be thankful enough for Logan.
So now that you're partway through your second year of college football, Kealii, what's it been like, just kind of, you know, college football been like for you and your time as a Grizzly, right? Because last year you're thrown in the fire as a true freshman, working alongside Clifton McDowell. This year, much bigger role, a lot more playing time. So the early learning curve, what's it been like kind of immersing yourself, and how have you seen yourself grow even from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, knowing that I'm young, just every day just trying to get better, trying to learn from Coach Pease, Logan, all the quarterbacks. We bounce ideas off each other, so every day I'm just trying to get better and just keep working and getting better.
100%. Well, for you two, it's interesting watching you be a little dual threat, right? Like kind of use your legs a little bit. I don't think your dad had much of a career like that. Everybody knew it for his arm. So where'd you kind of get that athletic ability? Have you always had that even when you were in high school?
I kind of developed it in high school, not really early on, but towards my senior year I kind of got comfortable running with my legs, and I can run better than my dad, but he still says I got a lot to catch up on with throwing. So, and I agree with that. So I got a lot of work to do.
They work together, but there's a little father-son rivalry too. We love to see it.
Yeah.
For you, Kealii, biggest thing going forward here, obviously 4 games left in the regular season. Another big road trip coming up this week. Just biggest thing for you, the offense, and the whole team as you guys go forward and look to get another win on the road.
Yeah, just the final push of the season, the second half of the season, just taking it day by day, trying to get better and trying to make this push towards the end of the season.
They push on for sure, no doubt. Well, Kealii, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the win, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Coming up, Riley will rejoin me here on the Grizzly Insider.
Take coverage of the Grizz with you. Download our app for your favorite mobile device today. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Welcome back to the show as the Grizz set their sights on San Luis Obispo, California to take on the Cal Poly Mustangs. Kyle's back to break it all down. And Kyle, before we really dive into the matchup at all, just your thoughts on Cal Poly, a program that, again, trying to find their way, new identity from when they went away from the triple option days, but, again, trying to stack up some wins.
100%. 2-5 on the season, right? So Cal Poly still kind of trying to get things going under Paul Wolf as head coach. Wins over Western Oregon, a Division II team, and, of course, Northern Colorado as well. Had a bye last week, so they had a little bit of extra time to prepare for the Grizz. Got to get a little more film on them with that Northern Colorado game. But, 10,000-foot view, Cal Poly ranking at kind of the bottom of the conference standings a lot. It's kind of just the way it goes with the wins and losses. Close loss to Idaho, so they are a team that can bite you. We talk about some of your Eastern Washingtons or some of these teams that come up and get you once in a while, or Northern Colorado getting Weber State. So definitely a trap game. Definitely a game you don't want to look past it, because obviously the Davis game next week has huge implications. So they have to take Cal Poly seriously. Go down there. Can't wait for the weather, first of all. But then we're going to go down there and then obviously take care of business and then get ready for that big one against Davis.
It'll be a business trip for the Grizz, and we'll see what Coach Hauck had to say about the Mustangs.
Yeah, another conference game on the road, consecutive long road trips. But our guys seem to handle that well. I think they embrace the whole road mentality of it's just us. We're going to lock arms and go down there and try to get a win. Cal Poly is playing better and better. Coach Wolf has done a really good job evolving with their team. They're playing hard. They're doing a lot of good things. We did catch them on the film last week against Northern Colorado, a game which they won. They'll be looking to defend the home turf down there. So we'll have a great week of preparation, and we'll need an RA game like we had last week to go down there and get the win.
Well, the Mustangs should provide a great challenge and a unique scheduling twist for them. They have 3 straight home games. They played only 2 home games up until now, so Grizz have to be ready for that. Also, Kyle, some familiar faces. Former offensive coordinator for the Grizz, Tim Rosenbaugh, calling the plays for Cal Poly. We mentioned Paul Wolf, familiar face in the Big Sky. There's also a Hall of Famer that's on the staff as well.
Yeah, how about that? Former Eastern Washington quarterback Eric Meyer, also on staff. Was just inducted in the Big Sky Hall of Fame this past summer. Great guy, very funny guy. It'll be interesting. A lot of just Big Sky ties in general with this Cal Poly team.
Well, you mentioned, let's just talk about the Big Sky Conference now. We are in the month of November. You said it. It's the games that everyone's going to remember. That the conference race right now is certainly fascinating, Kyle. When you look at 3 teams, there's 3 teams that have a chance to win it with Montana, UC Davis, and of course Montana State. And I think the big theme this week, when just looking at the slate of games, avoid the trap. Avoid the trap. Try and look forward, because, again, those contenders can't afford to stub their toe.
100%. We've already talked about the Grizz going to Cal Poly. This is also the second of their back-to-back longest road trips of the year. So you just never know how fatigue or the logistics are going to play into that. So that's where the Grizz are at with that. You look at Davis. They're going to be playing Northern Colorado. Obviously, we talked about Northern Colorado. Took down Weber State, lost to Montana. So you still never know. They fight. You know what I mean? You never know what the fight's going to be. And then on the Cat side, they're at Eastern Washington. And you think of the game the Eagles put up against the Grizz, and obviously close game against Idaho as well. So these are all very big trap games as we kind of wind things down a little bit. And these 3 contenders are going to see each other to wind the season down.
They are. The final 3 weeks of the season will be Grizz, UC Davis, and then UC Davis hosting the Cats. Then, of course, we know that matchup in Bozeman coming. Can you believe the season is just kind of sped through it for us?
It blows my mind every year, right? Just from start to finish, you look at just kind of where we're at, and then plus, the 4 non-conference games. We had an extra game this year, and it still flew by, but this is the best time of the year, no doubt.
It absolutely is. As the Grizz get set to take on Cal Poly here this weekend, kickoff will be at 3 o'clock. We'll wrap up the show on the other side of the break.
There's more coverage of the Grizzlies online anytime at montanasports.com. Welcome back to Grizzly Insider, sponsored by Albertson Safeway.
Well, as we wrap things up here on the Grizzly Insider, some very exciting news at the University of Montana. As for the 2nd year in a row, the Grizzly soccer team is Big Sky Conference regular season champions. Congratulations to head coach Chris Chidovitsky and his girls. Big tournament coming up in a couple of weeks here in Missoula, too.
It's amazing. Congratulations for what they've done this year. The first time ever, Big Sky Conference history, back-to-back regular season champions, but undefeated to do it. 13 out of 16 they won, only 3 ties. So amazing the way that they've had to re-identify their team this year. We've told their story plenty. So congratulations to them. I'm glad they get the week off and then get to regroup for what will be a massive week coming up afterwards at home.
The Big Sky Conference Tournament's going to be a lot of fun here in Missoula, November 6th to the 10th. Now pivoting to the week ahead, Riley, what you got on deck?
A big Inside the Den episode podcast this week. We talk with Athletic Director Kent Haslam about all of the conference realignment stuff and where Montana sits in it, quite frankly, and get ready to go for a massive month of November, Kyle.
We're very excited. Well, absolutely. Well, Grizzlies at Cal Poly this coming Saturday. You can listen to Riley on the Grizzly Radio Network or catch it on MTN with a 3 p.m. kickoff. Enjoy the game, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.